There we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. Emission. We're gonna bring this and make this really cool now by adding some emissive maps to this axe and having the activated version. Again, as I mentioned, this could be like the original weapon that you get as a hero when you're playing the game, and as you power it up, eventually it goes all the way to like this volcano effect. Now, unfortunately, as we mentioned before, we're not going to be able to get this effect of actual lava flowing, so we're going to make it as a red hot metal and lava instead. And the way we're going to do this is, first, we need to set up the maps so that Substance knows that we're going to be using emission. We're going to go to Texture Set Settings, and here on the channels, we're going to add a new channel, which is going to be an emissive channel. That's it. That's all we have to do. Because now, if I were to add a new layer right here, as you can see, other than having color, height, rough, normal, and metal, we're also going to have emission. And if I were to, let's say, turn everything off and keep emission on, we can just add a very cool emission effect to the whole thing. So it is a very common thing when we're working with emission that people will want to go into these very intense colors. So I'm going to show you a slightly different way in which we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing this by layers. I'm going to control G. I'm going to call this map emission. We're not going to add a mask because I actually do want to, well, actually, we do want to add a mask, but it's not going to be the mask that you think. We cannot use just color information, because if we just grab color information, we're just going to grab the rock. And I don't want to grab the rock. I want to grab the rock and the blade. So instead of using color information, I'm still going to press number 4 on my keyboard. And I'm going to use this option called polygon fill. And I'm going to fill this head of the axe. Like that. By selecting this option, which is object mode, and selecting this thing, now I know that this emission is only going to be affecting the axe. Okay? So again, number 4, to go into polygon fill, we select this little guy right here and we fill in the blade and the volcano. Now, emission works in sort of like intensities. So we're going to have the least intense effect and then the most intense effect. And we still want to see a little bit of the metal underneath the whole thing. I know right here it looks like just a stone, but I feel like it would be interesting to see like certain things not hitting all the way up to the final result. So as you can see right here, one of the things that we're going to have to deal with is the fact that we're going to have to do a little bit more painting to make sure that the emissiveness goes exactly where we want. Now, emissiveness works in a sort of a range. The more hot something is, the wider it gets. That's we call this kind of illumination black body illumination, and it happens with fire, it happens with explosions, it happens with everything. So the more intense something is, the more you go towards the white. So in this case, the most intense effect, as you can see, is the yellow. That means that I actually want to start the other way around. I want to start with the red colors right here. So I'm going to add a black mask to this element. Let's go back to number 1, so it's paint mode. And I'm going to add a generator, and it's going to be a dirt generator. And this dirt generator, as you can see, it's going to go straight into the crevices, which is great. It's exactly what we want. Now, I don't want grunge amount. I just want like the corners or the crevices of the element to have this sort of effect. And we can reduce the amount of intensity that we want. Now, the reason why we want to start with the red color is because we want to kind of like create this sort of glow effect with different color combinations. So this is going to be the first one. I'm going to bring the contrast down as well because I want this first color, the red color, to be very soft. It's like the glow that we're getting from pretty much everywhere. And I'm going to decrease this so that we're only getting it from inside of the crevices like this. There we go. Now we could add the blade, or actually I want to add the blade. And to do that, one of the things that we can do is we can add another color selection here, and we're going to add the green color selection. So as you can see, this selects the whole blade. Now, these are masks. These are black and white masks. So one of the things that we can do is we can do a linear dodge. We add up the masks, and as you can see now, we have the addition of the dirt layer plus the color selection of our blade, and we get this very, very cool effect. Now, as I mentioned, I do want to have like this like super glowy effect, but I don't want to be like everywhere. I feel like it looks a little bit off. So other than this, I'm going to add another paint layer, and I'm going to go for a very basic, like a basic soft brush right here to start removing some of the effects. You can see, for instance, we don't have any effects back here. So I'm going to remove all of the effects down here, all of this, because I don't want to have this lava effect everywhere. So I want to have it in certain areas. So I'm going to soften up this effect right there. Same, for instance, here. Like here, I'm gonna be very, very careful. Let's see if I can. No, it's not as easy. We can try to bring the flow down, for instance, to. There we go. That's what I want to just soften up the effect a little bit on the edges, so that it's not as as intense. It's not like white hot. So that this is also going to give us a very nice effect because it looks like the axe is cooling down towards the outer edge, right? Look at that, beautiful. Careful there. I actually made a mistake there by adding it to the rocks. We can add a little bit of glow to the rocks, like that's fine. For instance, we can like manually paint a little bit of glow. I actually think this makes sense because we would expect the lava to be emitting some light. Let's bring the flow even lower so that we can be a little bit more liberal with this. So we're painting a little bit of glow everywhere. There will be like normal glow on the engine as well. So once we go into Blender and we do the renders, this glow will impact the texture. So technically we don't really need to do this, but by doing it, we're kind of like pushing it up and helping it a little bit. You can also see, for instance, we got this elements right here. Let's bring the flow up. In this case, let's change to, actually, do we not have effect right there? Let's start adding a little bit of the lava effect right there that we see in the console, because you can see there's some small rivers going in there. Of course, super important, the big volcano up here. So let's grab again our basic like normal there, and all of this area is going to be really, really, really glowy, right? It's the color of the lava. So that gives us our first emissive map. And again, I'm gonna save real quick, and I just want to show you how this will eventually affect the actual elements. So if we go to the array here, which is going to give us the render, and we go to the display settings, we get the exposure down. You can see that thing is actually glowing. It's glowing very, very nicely and like affecting the overall things in our scene. So that's the way that this thing is going to be working once we're in the rendering as well. Oop. Let's go exposure 0. There we go. You can change the exposure here on display settings, which is this little window up here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't love this guys right there, so I'm gonna reduce a little bit of the effect there. I kind of want like the rivers to be the ones like getting the lava into the rest of the blade. So all of these areas, let's eliminate them. Perfect. So that will be the first layer. Now we're gonna add a second layer. So I'm gonna add another fill layer. This one's gonna be like an orange color. I'm gonna make it really, really intense as well. This is gonna be only emissive. There we go. We're gonna add a black mask, and we're gonna add another generator. It's gonna be another dirt generator. As you can see, this is gonna go on top. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna change this. We're gonna change the emissive map to linear dodge, so that it adds on top of the element. The grunge amount is going to be pretty much gone, and the dirt level is going to be way, way less. So as you can see, we should get like this is going to be like only on the very, very close parts of the lava right there. Let me just make sure. Can we try like overlay? No, linear dodge, I think it's working fine. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a fill layer. Or not a fill layer, sorry, a color selection. We're gonna pick the blade, and we're gonna do a linear dodge add. So now we like get both of them together. We're gonna go to our paint layer again, and now we're gonna play a little bit here with the glow effect, so that we get less intensity. Of course, on these areas right here, we're pretty much gonna destroy all of the intensity. We can play around with some of these elements to generate this effect. Look at that. That looks really cool. Let me do it again. I'm gonna remove that one, add another paint layer, because I don't want to remove as much. So paint layer. There we go. And then on this side, yes, we get rid of pretty much everything. Be very careful not to have any glow where you don't want it, because all of that glow will eventually affect the things. Bad, right? And of course, on the top part here, I would expect to have quite a bit of glow. on the center of the volcano. So making it really, really glowy right there. Let's go to the color. I'm just gonna make sure, yeah, we're at the top of the range. Now, one thing we can do here is if we duplicate this, as you can see, this is gonna make it really, really, really intense. It's gonna be even more intense. Right now, I think this is fine. Later on, inside of Blender, inside of the, what's the word? Instead of the rendering things that we're gonna do, we can tweak how much bloom and how much like effects we get from this particular thing. Let's add one more layer here. Again, this is gonna be an emissive layer. This is gonna be the yellow layer. So we're gonna go really, really, really hot now. Add a black mask. Add the generator. It's gonna be a dirt generator. No grunge. Really high contrast. Really low dirt. And on the emissive, we're also gonna change this to linear dodge so that it like adds itself to the next part. We can change the intensity as well here, like a little bit. I kind of want to have it like quite hot right there. Let's add, in this case, I don't want to add anything to that. Well, maybe just a little bit of glow. Let's add just a little bit here. So let's add a color selection, pick the color of this guy, and we're going to add a linear dodge so the masks are added. We're going to add a paint now. That way we get this very, very nice gradient. Let's go to this one. I think I forgot to remove a little bit there. And as you can see, this gives us this very nice, like hot metal effect pretty much everywhere. Let's clean some of this up. All of this back part, of course. Oh, that looks very, very nice right there. Some really hot spots on the inside of the volcano. Go. And then on the very tip of the volcano. It's very, very intense, like hot effect right there. Oh, there we go. I think the yellow is a little bit too like chicken yellow, so I'm gonna push it a little bit more towards the like orange yellow. There we go. And again, if we want, we can duplicate this, and as you can see, that's gonna give us a like a little extra punch right there on the effect. So not bad, not freaking bad. Now, I think with this we're pretty much done. As you can see, we get this very, very nice effect. I do want to add the no. I think that's fine because again, the emissive on the what's the word? The emissive on the render is going to take care of all of the other effects. So we're going to stop right here, my friends. And in the next video, I think there's just one more, like a couple of extra things that I want to add. So we're going to go for final details on the next video. And after that, we're just going to export the textures and get ready for the rendering section. So yeah, hang on tight and I'll see you back on the next one.